The end is nigh. Umbrella Academy fans, are you prepared for that? Because it's true, after 3 incredible adventures with the misfit family that is the Hargreeves, it's been confirmed by Netflix that season 4 is going to be the end. It'll get another 10-episode season to try and make the world a better place, or to doom it eternally. With this family, anything's up for grabs. But given that season 3 was such a roller coaster ride of emotions and abilities, what exactly is going to be left for them to talk about in season 4? Or is there one last grand story left to tell? 7. The setup from season 3. Given that season 3 was a wild card in various ways and definitely didn't end the way many people thought it would, or even thought it could, we need to talk about it and all that happened. After the events of season 2, the Umbrellas returned home only to find that it's not their home. Rather, their father, Reginald Hargreeves, was so put off by what they said to him in season 2 back in Dallas that he didn't adopt them and instead adopted 7 new kids and called them the Sparrow Academy. He then raised them, kind of, to be the ultimate superhero team full of ads and publicity and such. It didn't go well for him or for them. The Umbrellas would go on to find out that this wasn't the only change made to the timeline, and at first, they were mostly okay with that, to the extent that they went to the Hotel Oblivion and basically accepted retirement. Kind of. Problem though, because of their antics in the past, the superpowered boy Harlan that Vanya Victor accidentally created just as accidentally killed all their mothers before they, the Umbrellas, were born. For the record, that's really bad because they were still somehow alive in the present. That created the Kugelblitz, a black hole-like entity that literally started to annihilate all of existence, including the Thames Commission that usually would try and stop something like this from happening. They tried to work with the Sparrows to get it contained. It didn't work, so it was up to Reginald Hargreeves to take his united children, kind of, to the Hotel Oblivion and literally rewrite the universe. It worked. The ending of the season was the Umbrellas trying to figure out the new world/universe they were living in, and as we the viewers found out, it's much different, and as a result, there are many stories that can be had here. With season 4 both confirmed and revealed to be the final chapter in their story, there are now a lot of pieces that need to be put into place and loose ends to be tied off. Starting with 6. Allison. Easily the MVP in terms of both storyline and acting was that of Allison. One of the big changes to the timeline was that because she was never born, she never met her husband and never had her daughter in Claire. Do recall that she married a man named Ray back in the 1960s, and as a result, she was happy even in the not progressive time that they were in. She only left Ray in Dallas with his blessing, to be clear, because the future beckoned, and so did Claire, or so she thought. Her downfall from pillar of the family to killer was hard to watch, but it set up a lot of things as a result. Allison wanted to find a new way to fix the timeline to get her daughter back, which included making a deal with Reginald Hargreeves at the end so that when the universe was restored, she'd get everything she felt she deserved. Despite killing him to save the family, it didn't stick. Hargreeves held up his end of the deal, and not only was Claire alive in the reborn world, but Ray was now her husband. So where does this leave her? As the woman who literally has everything, all her actions paid off, the real question now is, how far will she go to protect it? You might think that once she realizes the full truth that she will ally herself with her true family once again and try to undo it all, but that's not a given, especially since she literally has all she could ever ask for. Plus, the other Umbrellas don't know where she is, and doubtful we'll see her go back to where she once lived. Allison's redemption story and the acceptance of all she lost could be the driving force of the final season. We'll just have to wait and see. 5. Powerless. Easily one of the biggest twists when the world was rewritten was that every one of the Umbrellas, including Lila, as well as Sparrow Ben, was powerless. This even included Luther, who died before the world was rewritten. He even had his original body back and not his ape form. There are going to be a lot of theories as to why this was done in the new world, but the biggest question is going to be, how does this affect the fight for the world? This is compounded by the fact that showrunner Steve Blackman confirmed there will be new dangers for the Hargreeves to face. But that might be hard given that they're trying to 4. Live their lives. With the world restored and their powers now gone, the Umbrellas and company were the most normal they have ever been. While it was a shock for some of them, others took it as an opportunity to go and live their lives without fear of the end of the world or villains coming after them and so on. For example, we find out in S3 that Lila actually is pregnant with Diego's child. And while we can't technically confirm that this is true in their new world, even if it's not, they're clearly dedicated to being a couple. Vanya is now Victor, a transition that mimics the one of actor Elliot Page, and now that Victor is without their world-destroying powers, they could get some peace of mind as well. Luther has a bride, more on that soon, and Five wants to retire. Klaus might go and just see where things take him. They have a chance to go and be regular people. Obviously, this won't happen, or at least not unlike in Season 2, where they did try and have normal lives more or less. It won't last. They'll get dragged into the new conflict, and that will lead them to even more problems. That's how the family rolls. 3. The Sparrows. One of the biggest question marks right now is that of the Sparrow Academy. One by one, they pretty much got wiped out. The only two left were Ben, the new Ben, not the old one, and Sloane, the new wife of Luther. When the world got reset, Ben was with them, but Sloane wasn't, and Luther went to look for her. Given that the Sparrows weren't the nicest to their father for both fair and unfair reasons, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that he didn't bring them all back. Ben might have been spared because of his loyalty at the end, but Sloane might be a different case. Blackman also noted that the stinger with Ben was not just the version of Ben we saw in Season 3, but something is clearly going on with him as he's in Korea and reading about plants. They wouldn't have just put that stinger in there without a purpose, right? 2. Father Not So Dearest. The final twist before the credits rolled is that the world, for lack of a better term, belongs to Reginald Hargreeves. He, at the very least, owns the city they're in, and he rules it on high with the return of his lost love, whom we found out was on the moon with Victor in the original timeline. Obviously, his mystery still grows. We know he's an alien, and that he has much more going on than he is telling, but how he went from his original world to this one and then made all of this happen is still a mystery that needs to be solved one way or another. Hargreeves' role throughout the series has grown with each season. He was barely in Season 1, only in part of Season 2, was a driving force in Season 3, and now he's likely the final boss. Or one of them, at least. 1. The final fight. No matter what, though, this is the last chance to set everything right. The world obviously can't stay as it is now. Blackman teased that Hargreeves' resetting of the world didn't go fully to plan because of Allison. So what is waiting for the Hargreeves to overcome? What will they do to get their powers back? Why did they get their powers in the first place? What will they have to sacrifice in order to truly save the world for once? We'll have to wait and see. Now, won't we? So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the Umbrella Academy Season 4 and what might happen with the final story of the Hargreeves? Just how far do you think showrunner Steve Blackman will go in order to wrap up the Umbrella story in a nice little bow? Or do you think that there is going to be a few more hurdles for them to cross before the true finale? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.